Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going over the classes and skills that you should be considering to help you dominate in Blankos Block Party. Hey guys, it's Peep, and today we're talking about the 5 classes in Blankos and the perks and skills associated with each one of those classes. Currently in Blankos Block Party, as of right now, there are 5 classes in the game. The first 2, the Noob and Trickle, are given to you by the game once you download and play in your first brawl. The last 3, such as the Wrecker, Tanker, and Tracer, are classes that you get to pick as you unbox your Blankos. So while you buy and collect Blankos, and if you decide to unbox them, you'll need to choose from one of these 3 classes for that Blankos to play as you continue to level up and play with them in the games. It is important to note that the final 3 classes, Wrecker, Tanker, and Tracer, each come with 2 hidden perks that you don't get to see on the foundation side until you level them up to a specific level that they become unrevealed to you. I'll do another video shortly after getting this one published on how to level up your Blankos and what you get as you level them up. So for every Blankos that you have, there's 2 sets of perks. There's foundation perks that impact the Blankos overall throughout a game mode. So additional health, respawn faster, knockback resistance, etc. And then there are power perks that impact their actual ability, such as longer shields, additional health, increase trap trigger radius. And so we'll be covering both of these as we review the 5 different classes today. Additionally, what you'll need to know is as I review each one of my classes, I've gone ahead and leveled each one up to level 5. What that does is it'll unlocks my other 2 additional power perks so that I can have 3 on each one of my classes. And I recommend that anyone that is buying a Blankos and unboxing them to select a class that you do the same so that you can get the full advantage out of the 3 power perk slots for each Blankos. So let's jump into our first review of the Noob. So first off, we have the Noob. This Blankos is given to you as you after you download and start the game. And has two primary abilities. The first one is a twirl, where once you hit R, your Blankos will jump up and spin around, and then as well as Q, which is kind of a boost forward. Very similar to some of the other skills that the classes have, but really for the focus for this Noob should be for free to play players. You're gonna want to make this like a vibe collect type build because of the vibe tunnel that this ability has. And so if we look at the different power perks for the Noob, you have vibe tunnel. Twirl lets you collect vibes from further away, reduce your boost cooldown by 5 seconds. Twirl deals an additional 20 damage but takes longer to recharge. Reduce knockback while boosted. Gain increased height from jumping when using twirl. And then Lightfoot lets you pass through other Blankos. So because you're going to end up having Trickle and Noob, because the game gives it to you, you're going to use Trickle as your primary like racing and not like shootout, knockout type game modes if you're free to play. And so you're going to want to focus this one on being a vibe collect. So running with Vibe Tunnel, reduce knockback as your second ability, and then really for your third ability, it's kind of up to you. You can look at the reduced boost if you're trying to get around. Jumping, it's really going to be primarily based on your play style. And so if we go back to look at the foundation perks for the Noob, we have respawn from knockout dramatically faster. Your vibe energy regenerates faster, recover from being stunned twice as fast, see enemy nameplates far away, and plus 30 health. And so because you're probably going to be focusing on this from a vibe collect standpoint, I would probably try to get the Noob to generating your vibe faster. Again, all these have to be unlocked with experience, which we'll do in our next video, our leveling video, to help you guys understand what happens as you level your Blankos. So if you needed 3 as you level up the Noob, what I would be focusing on is the vibe generate, recover twice as fast from being stunned, and then probably the health buff. Those are the three that I would focus on for the Noob. Next, we'll cover Trickle as the primary kind of racing meta going on right now within Blankos Block Party. So next up, we have Trickle. Trickle is also given to you, is the second class that given to you by the game, and actually is currently being used as the racing kind of meta because they have a 3 dash ability down here with their Q. And so we'll first off review their power perks, and then we'll review the foundation perks. So again, they have a dash where they get a shield with the Q ability, and then with R they have like a gum trap that they throw down on the ground, and as players run over it, their screen gets filled with gum, and sometimes you can even do damage depending on what power perks are on that Trickle. And so looking at the power perks, we have after dashing, gain a 50 health shield for 1.5 seconds. Your gum trap deals 40 damage over 4 seconds. Whenever you take damage, you gain a dash charge. Your dash has an extra charge. Your traps last longer before being tripped. Increase your trap's trigger area. And so because this Blanko is so fast right now, really what everyone is running is your dash has an extra charge. After you take damage, you regain a dash charge. So right there between the one that you already get with the ability and then these two, you're up to 3 dashes with Trickle. And then because you're going to be just pretty much spamming that dash button, you're going to want to go with the 50-second shield for 1.5 seconds. Now, as you collect Blankos and you can want to experiment a little bit, you could build a pretty deadly trap with the 40 damage over 4 seconds, lasting longer and increasing your trigger area. But because of the 3 game modes primarily in Brawl right now, you just need to focus on the speed. So that's why I recommend these 3 starting out. Looking at the foundation perks for Trickle, we have respawn dramatically faster from knockout, knockback resistance, 25 energy, spawn with a 50 health shield for 15 seconds, 50% chance to survive lethal damage once every 60 seconds, jump farther while running, and regain 15 energy per second while dancing. As you level it up and you get your other 2 foundation perks, the 3 that I would focus on for your Trickle would be the 25 energy, because now you can run longer as you gain the vibes throughout your races. I would do the cheat death, 50% chance to survive lethal damage once every 60 seconds. Massive if you get if you're in like a knockout race or even using this in a knockout game style. Very helpful. And then the third one that I would look to run is the jumping farther while running. Again, call out is you don't get these until they're excellent level 5. In our leveling up video, we'll be going over what the different tiers of Blankos are, from fair to good to excellent, as well as kind of show you how you do that in our next video. So take a peek for that. That one should be a good one, and we'll be focusing on that one as soon as this one comes out. And those are the 3 that I would focus on from the foundation standpoint. The next 3 classes are the ones that you get to pick, and I have 1 Blankos of each that I've played with already, and so we'll go ahead and hop into the Wrecker. So this is the Wrecker. I have the Deadward skin as my first Wrecker that I picked as I opened him. You're gonna see for my power perks that I have 3 in each place for the Wrecker, Tinker, and Tracer. Just to call out, you do need to level them up just to level 5. Which you can do here with experience, but again, I'll go into that in the next video. So with the Wrecker, there's 2 primary abilities. He has like a slam dunk where they jump up in the air and they come kind of pounding down, and it'll create like a shield. And then there's a Q, which is like a dash ability, like a quick little boost for 5-10 seconds that pushes them forward. And so based on the power perks, they can really help out in both of these. I do have a strong kind of recommendation for new players. As you open your Blankos, I highly recommend that you select Wrecker as your first one, only because it's very versatile across the different game modes. You can make him a racing playstyle. You can make him very strong in the knockout and the vibe collects. So I went with the Wrecker first. Again, your choice, but what I recommend. So taking a peek at the power perks, we have reduced boost cooldown by 5 seconds. Deal 15 damage with the dunk, additional 15 damage with your slam dunk ability. Your boost believes a trail of fire, can be helpful in races if you want to go with the Wrecker. Gain 50 health shield for 15 seconds after your ground pound. drop and hop, get a hype bonus after you ground pound, and then both parties begin with full boost charges. My recommendation, this is what I've kind of ran with since I've gotten him, is the number one ability here is really the additional damage with the ground pound, especially in like the knockout and the certain vibe collects where you have to battle. Extremely helpful, becomes like a one-shot type Blankos fight with this ability sometimes. And then 2, if you're going to run that, I think this is the second strongest here, which is the gain 50 health shield for 15 seconds after your ground pound. From there, you can get creative, really. It's the 2 abilities that I always find the most important. The third one's really based on the playstyle. If you want to have fire behind your boost, can be very helpful sometimes. You can get the hype bounce, but I go with just both parties because I really want my boost ability at the beginning of a knockout because I can get to ammo or I can get to my vibe collect places a lot quicker if I have that boost already at the beginning of a match. Looking at the foundation perks for the Wrecker, there's plus 30 health, knockback resistance, your vibe energy regenerates faster, respawn from knockout dramatically faster, see enemy nameplates from far away. And again, you have your 2 hidden perks that I talked about that you don't find out until you get to good level 14 and excellent level 14. So starting out, I would definitely run with a 30% health, very helpful in the knockout vibe collects where you fight. Really the other ones aren't too strong. My second one would be your vibe energy regenerates faster. Or even the knockback resistance is pretty good on some small maps where if you're battling with a bat, you might get knocked off the edge. So really 1, 2, 3 probably, you know, between this, and then really you're banking on a hidden perk that we'll go over at the end of this video. I'll create a high tier list and a low tier list of perks. So that is your record. Next we will review the tanker. So here is my tanker. I use the Maximouth skin for my first tanker. The tanker is extremely strong with as much health as it gets. I see it ran a lot in the knockout, team fighting mini games that are on the side, as well as even in like duo shootout tournaments. I always see typically one of the 2 duos running like a tanker type build because of how much health and how hard it is to bring him down. Takes a lot of focus in the fighting, and then has partner kind of do a cleanup from the side kind of support role. So very strong. Enjoy playing with him. If you see a good tanker in a brawl, you know how hard it is to bring some of these down sometimes. So the 2 perks, there's a vibe trap where he'll throw down a vibe trap back down on the ground again, and then he has also a bubble shield, and so that's where he primarily can just become such a massive unit to take down. Taking a peek at the power perks, we have activated shields have 30 health. Your activated shields last 50% longer. Those 2 alone makes this thing a beast. Increase your trap's trigger area. Gain a speed boost when your activated shield is broken. Your trap deals 20 damage, and then your traps have 1 extra charge. So for me, the 2 biggest skills to run together are these 2 because that shield just becomes so critical in the fighting moments. The third power perk that I run around, that I kind of bounce around between the activated shield when it's broken with the duck and run, and then the extra holdings. Still trying to figure out personally what plays best for me, but really it's just a matter of having all that health. And then taking a look at the foundation perks, he does have the 30 health buff over here, so even again adding more to that HP counter. Increase run skill at top speed. Regain 50 energy whenever you knock a Blanko out. See enemy nameplates farther away. Your basic run costs 33%. So my 3 foundation perks I would focus on outside of the 2 hiddens would be the 30% health, regain 50 energy whenever you knock a Blanko out. Those 2 are so critical. And then your basic run energy costs 33 less per second. That one's very good too. And then whatever you pull in your hidden perks as well, you could toss out for one of these 2, but truly can make this thing a tank, very hard to bring down. And when you see a good one, you can just tell in matches that it's going to be a struggle for some people to knock them out. So they become a priority just trying to knock out because they can clean up so many kills. And that is the tanker. Next, we'll review the final class of the tracer. So here is my tracer. I have the Dazzle skin as my first tracer. Looking over at the skills, there's 2. There is a spin where they kind of spin around. They can collect vibes this way. Additionally, with some of the perks, you can get kind of a height boost with your jump. And then Q is kind of a dash forward and kind of knocks Blankos out of your way, which can be helpful in racing game modes and vibe collects as well. So taking a look at their power perks, your spin lasts longer but also has a longer cooldown. Your dash has a longer impact zone and hits up to 3 Blankos. Can be helpful on what you're trying to do. Your dash has an extra charge. Spin lets you briefly float, get a brief speed boost after you spin, and then your dash deals an additional knockback. You can do a lot of builds really with the tracer. Kind of what I do with this is kind of a speed running, kind of very similar to my Trickle. So currently I have on there, I think the biggest and most important one is the battery pack, because you get that extra dash. I'm playing around with the downward spiral. I kind of like it. I'm getting used to it. It's definitely something you have to get used to just playing with. And then you get a brief speed boost after you spin. So those are the 3 I'm running. I have additionally also kind of ran the crash zone, the mech wave, and the battery pack as well. I've ran those 3 before. You definitely have a bull rush type feel while you're running those. You knock people out of your way. But you're primarily only relying on that skill to be up when you need to use it, so you need to time it pretty good to get people out of your way and cause havoc. Looking at the foundation perks, there is jump farther while running, recover from being stunned twice as fast, spawn with a 50 health shield that lasts 15 seconds, 25 energy, respawn from knockout dramatically faster. Because I use this primarily in the racing game modes, I haven't really focused on it from a vibe standpoint. My 3 biggest foundation perks would be the jump farther while running, the 25 energy, and then really the third one, you could really run any 3 of these. You'd probably be looking for one of the hidden perks that we'll review here to be strong for this, but whatever you feel comfortable with. Coming back twice as stun is important, but really if you're getting stunned in a race already, you're probably too far behind. 50-second health shield's not bad when starting out a race because of how much chaos there is with the abilities at the beginning. So I would probably run these 3 at the beginning if you're looking from a recommendation standpoint. Next, we are going to review all the hidden perks that the tanker, tracer, and wrecker can get, and kind of just put them in a tier list for which ones you should be kind of hoping for and looking to use on them, and then which ones I don't think add much value to your Blankos. So let's take a look at those now. And finally, we have the hidden perks that the wrecker, tanker, and tracer can get once you level them up to higher levels. So each one of those 3 classes come with 2 hidden perks. What I've done here on the screen is gone ahead and taken each of the hidden perks currently in the game and put them in order of what I think would be most important for what I'd be trying to be shooting for in these hidden perks. Not like you have a choice, to the ones that are probably the least impactful to a gameplay. So really the first 4 are all in their own kind of tier of their own together. So the first one being cheat death, 50% chance to survive on lethal damage, 2-second shield with 1 health, and it has a 60-second cooldown. So you can imagine a lot of current fights right now, even between either vibe collect or knockout, how beneficial this would be if you had 2 extra seconds to either shoot at your opponent or try to hit them. It means life or death in a lot of different battles that you can see in knockout, and that's why I put this so high up on my rankings. Second, payback explode for damage after death, 30-second cooldown. With this hidden perk, after you die, your character explodes and does an area radius damage, and I've seen this to kill quite a few enemies. I know I died to it quite a bit in some of the brawl gameplay, so that's why I put up there as pretty important. Endurance, this one's a little bit more self-explanatory, but with the speed boost and the power-ups that last longer. So if you have a race, looking at the boost, within the wrecker or some of these other ones, you're able to take those longer, and it makes it a little bit more valuable to use in the race game modes. And then raise and run, 5-second speed boost whenever you eliminate an enemy. This one is kind of second tier. I put the other 3 kind of in their own. This could be helpful in a vibe collector or a knockout, because now you can either get to ammo or get to cover if you need to. Not necessarily a bad perk, but not one of the best ones out there. Dazed and Refuel. This one's kind of in that tier 2, tier 3. Regain 100 health when you stun an enemy. This could be huge if you're playing Knockout again or Vibe Collect, and you're low on health, or you've been kind of getting beat up and you need to try to, you know, get yourself back in the game. Trying to be able to use like a stun perk is beneficial to be able to regain all that health. These last three, Attention Hound, Gaib and Revive, and Vibin, are all very bottom tier in my opinion. You're not going to be taunting, dancing, or emoting much in competitive gameplay, and so I don't think they add that much value to what these other ones could. I would be primarily focused on, you know, cheat death, payback, endurance, even that raise and run, depending on what kind of build you're trying to do with those classes. And so all these perks again can be on the Wrecker, Tanker, or Tracer. You just have to level them up to see what they come with, and you cannot change them, is another thing that I wanted to mention. So that is the hidden perks. So that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about the classes and the perks that you need to be successful in Blankos. Appreciate you guys watching the video. If you found any help out of this video, you know, I'm new to the YouTube side of the content creation, so any like or subscribe that you guys think is willing, and if I add value, I'd really appreciate if you guys could go ahead and do that. I also stream throughout the week over at the